Ride with the Knights on YouTube.
Okay, I'll
Just
look
like
it
that.
up.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I almost feel like I could get a picture with him for some reason. Go for it. 1, 2, 3. Honey. Nice to meet you, Josh.
Nice to meet you too.
Tell my brother I picked up a dirt biker. Yeah. So my brother-in-law.
Check it out, Kevin. Look what made it. All the way to Italy. So we're trying to figure out the GPS route to get over to the hotel. We're pretty exhausted, but we managed to get here. It's like 4:30 a.m. back home, so that's kind of what our bodies are used to. So I only slept for maybe an hour and a half. So we're pretty hammered, but we're gonna get over to the hotel. Hopefully get in there, get situated, and get some rest, and then get rolling this week. All right, we're finally here in Italy. It's kind of a crazy process traveling, but we got our shoes on. We're just gearing up to go walk a special test. We traveled from Utah to New York to Milan. We got here in Italy yesterday. The whole process of getting our luggage, getting the rental cars, checking into the hotel wore us out. So we tried to go to bed, wake up on time. Today is our first full day. We just went and checked out where the paddock is. We haven't really explored the Team USA setup yet. We just kind of located where the pits are gonna be at. Here at the ISDE, they often refer to the pit area as Parc Fermé or the paddock. So we figured that out. Now we just drove over to the first special test that we're gonna walk. This isn't gonna be the first test we race. It's probably gonna be the second. However, it's gonna be the first test that we walk here in Italy. This is always one of my favorite parts, showing up and just seeing ribbon and lath all over. It looks like this one's gonna head into the trees. So we're really gonna get a feel for what the dirt's like, what their tests are gonna be set up, and we're gonna try and walk at least 2 or 3 tests today. So we're gonna go check this out. Hard pack, come up this side, drop down into the sweep right now.
Eat one. Maybe not before race week.
So after just walking a section like this, it's pretty easy once you analyze it for a minute to determine the consequences of a corner like this. And we can, with the experience racing and doing these enough now, we can pretty much guarantee that the main line after the first day is gonna be a skid mark clear down to the bottom of this ribbon. And there are gonna be a ton of riders that are blowing this corner and get down off the hill. So one of the things I'm really looking for when I'm walking these tests is there's so many different obstacles that you can get creative with and look for a different line, but it's hard to remember all of them. So one of the things I try to do is weigh the consequences of some of the obstacles if I mess up. For example, if I mess up on something like this, it could be a 5 or 8 second mistake, versus if I mess up on something else, it's a half a second. So it's much more important to remember obstacles like this to avoid losing that time. It's so much faster to just try and minimize mistakes rather than going super fast and aggressive on other sections. So big corner to remember right here. About 70% of the test was in sort of these deciduous trees where they've cut out, and then the other portions are in these little fields like this where they kind of do some grass track setup. But it looks like they've held enduros or special tests here before, because a good portion of the test is pre-established trails that are kind of hard-packed single track. But for the most part, looks pretty tight for 6 days. It's not going to be very high speed, a very easy test to override. So we're going to try and kind of keep the nerves and the aggression down and just kind of be really smooth. But really good stuff. Really happy with the decision to set up the bike the way that we did. We'll talk more about that, but super awesome. Fun to kind of complete the first test. So we're gonna see if we can go find some other tests today. here at Special Test 1 for day 1. So this is the first section of the race that we're actually going to be racing on, race speed. And this looks nuts. Right here I'm standing at the start of this special test, and if you look all the way out here, you can see it just go up and down all these different hills, and clear down there in the bottom you can see test. So all of this is one special test, and it's all on this hill. And it's pretty crazy right here. We're gonna be starting going straight off this hill and finishing coming right up this hill. So definitely gonna be pretty crazy test. It looks like a pretty good one to start the week off because we got kind of a lot of space and hopefully visibility is pretty good here. So we're gonna go walk this one, probably burn some calories. We just got back from a crazy Italian lunch that was super awesome. We just found a small place and they gave us a whole bunch of appetizers and brought out like sizzling steak on this cast iron. So we're pretty stuffed right now. Go do some hiking. It's one of my favorite parts of 6 days.
Have fun. I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm gonna burn all those calories. Burn some. So we just arrived at another enduro test. This is probably gonna be the last one we're gonna walk today. This test is most likely gonna be on one of the later days in the week, day 3, 4, or 5. And it's super crazy setup. The parking and everything for all this is gonna be nuts, but we're like starting right by people's houses. Like there's people that live right there. There's like a clock tower right up here, and it's cooled off pretty good right now, so it feels good. Go see if we can crank out another test. That'll be 3 tests for our first full day in Italy, which is some pretty good progress. So same thing, some of the things we're looking for are just different obstacles where we can save time, kind of getting a lay of the test and how the dirt's gonna form, different things like that. One of the things I mentioned earlier was how I was pretty excited and happy with kind of the direction I went with bike setup this year. I really focused on keeping a bike that was very stable, that was traction oriented. The Sherco is very planted and stable. I also, with the suspension and the way we set up the sag and the forks, I tried to get a bike that has a lot of front end feedback and allows me to focus on just nailing my corners. And that is totally the direction we're going with all of these tests. So it's gonna be good. We're gonna check this test out. All right, farmer, I know this isn't my farm and these aren't my peaches, but I've been hiking for a while and peaches are my favorite food. I need some nutrients, so I might take one or 2, maybe. Try them out. Looks like they've actually been harvested already. They're all on the ground, so sorry. Thanks for letting us race our dirt bikes in your field though. That's cool.
How's this for the end of a test, Dad?
Super sweet. We're standing here in Italy. We got vineyards, 360 degrees, church bells ringing, old buildings all around us. It's just a super cool environment. This is what makes the 6 days so awesome. It's not just about the test, but it's about the culture, it's about the environment, it's about the country that you're in. It's super awesome. and we're just trying to soak it in and enjoy it, and the fact that we're here doing something a lot of people dream about. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
It's 10:20 p.m. We got some food, made it back to the hotel. We've been out and about for like 12 plus hours. Walking tests. We pretty much walked 3 tests today, so it's pretty good, made some progress. That's it for the first day.
Do it this way.
Vlogging. Vlog style. Day 2. All right, we're heading out on the next test for day 2. This is actually a test we're gonna be riding on day 2. Kind of getting in the rhythm now of walking tests. So I'm gonna start my watch here so we can track the distance and the time it takes us to walk. Oh, I'm gonna start the GoPro too. We did this yesterday on one of the tests, and we did like a time warp, and then you can watch it after and kind of fast speed to recall the test. Works really good. This looks sweet. Grass track right here, so go check it out and get some more hiking in. We did 10 plus miles yesterday. Shaping up to be a good day today.
How many?
2.4 miles. Took me 53 minutes to walk it. Probably 4 or 5 pretty tricky off cambers that we're gonna have to really remember, but
4 or 5?
4 or 5 really tricky ones. There's probably like 20 on the whole track, but there's about 4 or 5 that are like really crucial to execute properly.
This is one of the first ones that, this and the vineyard test are the first 2 that I'm like jealous of not being riding.
So we just finished walking this enduro test, 3.9 miles. We're gonna be hitting this test on day 1 and day 2, but super diverse. It starts under that bridge over there, does a couple 100 yards in this rock, across the water a little bit, and then we actually climb all the way, well on this side, all the way to the top of that hill up there, come all the way down. There's a section actually in the pine trees over there. We kind of meander through a couple fields, jump back in the river bottom, another field, and then the last stretch is all through this river bottom stuff. So diverse tests when comparing them to the other grass tracks we've been walking, and in and of itself it's a diverse test because we got rock, we got mountain, and we also have grass track all kind of in the same test. So really interesting to kind of see how the lines develop. I bet in this rock stuff it's going to be fairly one-lined, but we have some bigger implanted rocks. There's kind of some technical sections going up and down these little waterfalls, and a couple corners on the grass track that are really interesting. And then the ridge actually looks comfortable for me, just kind of a little bit faster, higher speed with a little bit of elevation. So it's super fun seeing different places in the countryside. We're gonna go get some food and check out some of the tests. So we just wrapped up our 3rd test for today. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday we walked 3, today we walked 3. We started with a grass track, we did an enduro, and then we just ended on this grass track. So like total iconic Italian setting. We just have some rolling hills. We got this church, this chapel right up here on the top of the hill. It's a pretty sweet setting. The test is all in this field that you can see behind me. We start way down in the bottom, and there's one section that dives into the trees down there and follows a creek bed and then pops out, and then the entire rest of the test goes up and down these big hills. And it's hard to tell from this distance kind of the pace of the test or how wide it is, but it's a little bit wider than some of the other ones, and it's also just a little bit faster. It doesn't have quite as many turns. It maintains some straights a little bit longer, particularly on that side. So we're gonna have, this one's gonna be really fast. There's gonna be sections where we're gonna be in 4th gear, going wide open all the way to the top of this hill and back down. So today is a little bit cooler temperatures. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday was pretty warm. It's humid here, but today we've had a little bit more cloud cover, and yeah, so it feels a little bit better. We're just, I was chatting a little bit with Axel. It's fun bumping into all sorts of different riders from the US team, as well as riders from all around the world. Earlier today when we were walking the enduro test, we kind of walked with the whole team from Chile and kind of bumping, talking to them about different sections. It's fun to see people from all the way across the world still stop at an off-camber turn and like debate different line choice, and you're not even from the same part of the world, but you share common interests. And so talking to Axel about a couple different things, he mentioned that he built up his bike today, and so it sounds like the US container's accessible. So we've had a big day today, so we'll probably take it easy and maybe plan tomorrow to build up the bike. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, we're just gonna enjoy Italy for the rest of the day.